Welcome to the last talk between you and lunch. So I'm pretty aware I have to keep this short. It will be first, second slide, me and my wife. Who am I? I already introduced myself, but for who weren't there. I own a hosting company in Belgium. We do only Linux. We try to educate our people, our clients to actually think in a DevOps way. We work agile with them, so we try to educate them into the new way of doing things in infrastructure and everything in development. If you actually look closely to this picture, don't look at me or my wife. Look at the glasses. This is actually a picture from me being in Cuba 6 years ago. If you look in the reflection, you can actually see Le Malecon in Cuba. So it was with my wife at the Malecon, enjoying Cuba, just like I'm doing now. So, what is this talk going to be about? I'll have to pull this a bit up. Well, it's a talk about DevOps. We are here doing DevOps Days. It would be strange not to be doing anything about DevOps. But it will also be about yourself. It will include some firemen. We will learn about Bulgarian folk songs. And you're even going to learn a little bit of Dutch. So let's get started. It's about raising the bar. You'll see what I mean with that. First of all, let's start off with the good stuff. Currently, I think we, as IT people, as developers, as system administrators, we live in a golden age. It is so fun to be currently involved in IT. We have all this new technology. I am here for a week, mostly disconnected from the internet. Yeah, mostly disconnected from the internet. Well, I know when I get back at the office, the people will be talking to me, hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that? There is a new version of product X. Fun stuff to be around. There is, for instance, pile of floppy disks. 10 years ago, you would install a server with this. Really, a pile of floppy disks. Even Debian had the option in the installer, install from a pile of floppy disks. It was worded like that 10 years ago. Nowadays, one click, auto-install, whatever you want. Think about log files. Formerly, 10 years ago, it was just a file on a system. Currently, it sits in your Elk stack. You graph it, you get filters on it, you just get all the info you want. Pretty good stuff. 10 years ago, we only had servers. Now we even have serverless. You don't even have any servers anymore. Brilliant, brilliant. This was mainly highlighted also by the talks of Enrique and Ernesto, I think. Yeah. So all the talks about continuous integration, how you deliver software 10, 20 times a day, all pretty good stuff. It's not only technology that has changed, it's also the processes. Anyone recognizes this? It's actually from the factory of Toyota in, I don't know where, I assume Japan. The Kanban system actually evolved from how they do manufacturing of cars. So Kanban, for instance, is an example of things that have changed. We've seen it in Yadir's talk. It actually helps. It actually improves everything we have. There are much more than this. It's the communication, new ways of doing things, self-organizing teams, all pretty good stuff. Much good fun, actually good fun. An example, just to show you how much people and companies are actually trying to improve everything. Anyone familiar with projects Aristoteles? Anyone? Good, so I can explain it. This is actually a project which was started at Google, the search index. So what did they do? They wanted to find out what made a team a good team. So what were the factors that would make a team, like you take 7 to 10 people who work on a certain thing, and they wanted to find out how will we make that team a good team. They invested lots of money in it. They interviewed like 100, 1,000 workers, all asking, investigating, trying to find out what the magic formula was for making a good team. In the end, they presented their research to the company, I assume. I don't know. And it was actually quite simple. The outcome was, it was a long and a long draft of text, and in the end it said, well, to summarize, just be nice. So, if you want to have a good team, just be nice to each other. All right. So, DevOps. We've been doing DevOps today, yesterday, last 4 days. You've been doing it also in the companies. DevOps is actually, if you implement DevOps or DevOps way or whatever you want to call it, it will actually result in 2 things. The processes will improve. So you will actually construct continuous delivery, you will actually go to serverless or whatever. It will actually all improve. There's another factor to it. It will also improve the people. So all the people involved in doing the DevOps, they will also improve. So they will get better on many levels. So DevOps is not only about all the processes of getting everything out in time, of doing multiple deliveries. No, it's also about improving yourself. So a little quiz. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself doing your job? Are you like just someone sitting in a cubicle, doing stuff, typing on a computer? Maybe not. Maybe we sit in a fancy office. Not really a cubicle, we just make it a bit more fun. But we're still typing on computers, just doing that. The firemen, I promised. So sometimes we're firemen. Are we this all the time? They're heroes. They're brave. They rescue people. Yeah, we do that sometimes. Are we just pushing some buttons? Yeah, some of the times we also do that. Does it feel like we're designing the Mars rover? Yes, sometimes it does. So we're a bit all of that. And then again, I don't think we're any of that. I think all of us should be, we should see ourselves as craftsmen. People getting really good at certain things. Learning, evolving, getting better, just to do woodwork. Well, not woodwork, we would do IT, but you see what I mean? The guy just getting better and better, doing things, really thinking it through, and getting a real good craftsman. So how do we get there? You just don't become an experienced craftsman by just saying, hey, I'm going to learn this, and by the end of the evening, all done, here we are, ready to take on the next challenge. No. So think about a craftsman, a woodworker, who takes like a piece of wood, smells it, feels it, and then takes out, smell it, and starts working on it to craft anything. So how do we become a craftsman? Training. Training, training, training. Learning a skill is like training a muscle. You have to do it over and over and over. The moment you stop, your muscle will start to get weaker again. So you have to keep doing this all the time. That's one thing we have to do. Bulgarian folk songs. So if you want to do Bulgarian folk songs, take on challenges. Learn new things. Reach out, get info on new stuff. Try actually new stuff. Try something outside of your comfort zone. Try to think of something which you didn't do. Maybe even outside of the IT world. Maybe try to learn Chinese, for instance, or Dutch, might be also good. Refine how you work. If you do something and you have been doing that for 2 years in the same matter, you have to question that. Can I do it better? Can I improve on this? So we need to get better every day. We need to raise the bar for ourselves. Another thing we need is patience. It just doesn't come in one day. It just doesn't come in 1 week. I have been doing Linux system administration for over 20 years, and still I sometimes struggle to get something going, to debug a certain problem, to invest something and find out how it works. If you at first don't succeed, try looking at it from a different angle, put it away, look at it a bit later. Just be patient, try over and over again. Eventually you will get there. So you'll need to have patience. Tools. Bridget was talking about tools just in her previous talk. So I'm going to be subtle here. Tools aren't important, actually. It's not what you use to get to somewhere, it's the end point which is important. So let's refer back to the talk Bridget gave about monitoring. The main point, the main focus is to monitor value. We have to monitor if our business gets the value it needs, if we are actually doing a good business. If you do that with like a simple script, or you do it with Nagios, or you do it with Isinga 2, or even the newest, shiniest, brightest thing, it doesn't matter which one you use. Obviously, it's better to use the last one. But if the goal is actually to measure the value, it's better to have an old system measuring value than a new system not measuring the value. Okay? So the tools, they are important, but they don't exceed the importance of what you are trying to achieve. So do not think that the tools are that important. So we should be raising the bar for ourselves. We should be saying we need to keep learning. We need to invest time in new technology. We need to invest time in learning new things, so that we will become a good craftsman, so that we will learn the skills and so on. There are a couple of pitfalls. This is actually a picture from a bus we saw outside here recently, and it's actually in Dutch, so it says out of order on top. So that's the Dutch you will be learning. If you see buitendienst, it means out of order. So that's it. There are a couple of traps here. First one, this is already very old. Well, not the guy, he's also a bit old. This is Obi Fernandez. I don't know if anyone knows Obi Fernandez. He's one of the main contributors a while back to the Ruby and to the Rails core. He also wrote a couple of books about Ruby and Rails, or co-authored them, I don't really know. About 10 years ago I was at a conference and he was speaking there, and he actually went into a little rant mode, saying that we were actually doing it all wrong and presenting it to the outside world. So this is actually a screenshot from Rails many years ago. And it actually says, well, it's not that visible here, creating a weblog in 15 minutes. What kind of expectations is that putting out? It is saying that it only takes 15 minutes to create a website. Well, you're forgetting about all the learning and all the experience you have gathered. It takes actually 10 years and then maybe 15 minutes added to that 10 years of experience to actually create a weblog in Rails 2. So this is Rails 2, we are already advanced from that. Currently, we are seeing the same things in everything that has to do with DevOps. Get Kubernetes, you have your own Docker cloud in like 30 minutes. Get this tool to measure that, you'll have it in 10 minutes, you have it going in 10 minutes. It's not that easy. Don't fall into this trap. install it, try it, learn about it. It's not just 15 minutes of time to get there. So that's one of the pitfalls we must avoid. We should also not be blinded. Like, if you use a certain tool and there is another tool doing just the same thing, hypothetically, like Puppet, Chef, Ansible, whatever you do, or like Nagios, Isinga, Isinga2, Datadog, whatever you want, no problem. Don't get locked into your own tool. Don't think that your own tool is the only tool and the one and only good tool. Actually, if you are discussing with someone, try not to say, well, if someone says to you, why are you using A? You should be using B. Then don't go defending A. You should start asking, why should I use B? What's so much better? What's your experience with B? Convince me that I should be using B. I will make the decision then if I will do A or B. So that's another pitfall. Don't have like the blinders on. Don't have a broad vision. Keep looking at the other stuff going around. It's not just the tools you use and the way you do it. Okay. These people you will most certainly not know. These are a couple of my employees. I want to point out two of these. These are all work at my company, but I wanted to point out like this guy and this lady. The guy on the left is actually the second employee we hired. So he has been with the company for a long, long time. I think we hired him like 10 or 12 years ago. I don't exactly know. The girl on the right, we just hired her like, I think 6 months ago. They're actually doing both the same job. So they're helping clients, setting up their systems, doing DevOps stuff, and so on. When the guy started with us so long ago, what did we want? What did we expect from him? He needed to be good at system administration, so logging into a server, installing a package, configuring a service, and then communicating with the clients. Yeah, that would also be good, and then that was about it. Maybe some debugging skills, capable of reading PHP code, as most of our clients do this. That would be it. And then he would be hired if he had all that skills. Easy, isn't it? Now the girl, Lara, she came to the office. We asked her a lot more questions. We actually asked her, can you install packages in a server? Can you configure a service? But do you also know Chef? Do you know Git? Do you know about continuous integration? Do you know about DevOps? What's your culture? Do you know anything? Kanban, all the tools, all the things we do at the office. She should have some experience in that before she can start with us. Or we should see that it is easy to train her to actually do these kinds of things. So actually, it's hard to compare, and it's also what Bridget talked about, it's hard to compare yourself 10 years ago with people currently stepping into the IT world. So actually the bar went up quite a bit for these people. So the bar is actually raising. All right. Let's talk about skills. The classic iceberg slide. So you know that some things will go on the top and some things will go on the bottom. There are hard skills. Those are things you need to know. Technical stuff. Infrastructure as code. I just put some words on. It's like a buzzword galore. Development, Git, security, sysadmin, containers, continuous delivery, pipelines. Those are things you can learn. You read a book, you read a piece of paper on the internet, an article, you try something out. These are things. These are called actually hard skills. Then let's get to the bottom below. These are called actually the soft skills. So how do we communicate with each other? Planning, like Kanban, Scrum, planning poker, whatever you want to do, you have to get trained in this. Listening, adaptability, you have to be able to change your ways to the situation, to the client. Work ethic, you need work ethic, so all important. And certain attitude, should be good, otherwise you're fired. Teamwork, you should be able to work in a team, okay? All stuff you need to know. Retrospectives, you should be able to do actually retrospectives. All skills you should have. Those are called the soft skills. So if you go somewhere and apply for a job, they will ask about your hard skills and they will ask about your soft skills. Oh, critical thinking. Look, I forgot one. Judgment. I could have gone on. Oh. Well, let's talk about one of these soft skills. Raise your hand if you had a failure the last 6 months. Oh, that's not that much. Keep it up, keep it up. Who wrote a post-mortem about it? Not that many people. Another question, that post-mortem, who wrote one? Ernesto, for whom do you write it? Mostly for the team? Okay. If you fail yourself at something, will you write a post-mortem yourself, for yourself? Will you actually, you don't have to write it, will you actually reflect on it for yourself, to improve yourself? Each time you have a failure, you should normally write a post-mortem. You should normally, wait, too late? No? Okay. You should try to improve yourself. Reflect on what has happened and apply it to yourself. This is actually a failure we had. It's not a picture I pulled from the internet. This is actually our data center, one of our data centers. We had a fire, a complete rack went up in flames. All the other servers had smoke and dust particles in them. We wrote a pretty lengthy post-mortem here.
I'm going to ask a question about the failure again.
Excuse me?
I'm going to ask a question about the failure.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them.
Oh, you're going to ask the question about failure. Okay.
Bueno, es ¿quién ha tenido un fallo en los últimos 6 meses? Que levanten la mano. Ok, y entonces, detrás de ese fallo, ¿quién escribió un artículo que explica lo que sucedió, cómo arreglaron el fallo? ¿Eh? ¿Nadie documentó eso? Un poco, okay. So, many had the failures, but no more postmortems.
So, writing postmortems are actually a soft skill. Deducting information from it is a soft skill. Applying it to yourself is a soft skill. So we need soft skills. You know the hard skills? The soft skills are also hard skills. These aren't easy to handle. You really need to train and work on this. Now, to get there, does anyone know about personal responsibility and the personal responsibility system? This is a bit theoretical, but it's actually a way of analyzing a situation which was invented by Christopher Avery quite a long time ago, I think. So it goes like this. If there is a problem, there are many possible responses to it. So it goes from the bottom and you want to end on top. So if there is a failure, the first thing is to lay blame. Hey, I didn't do it. It was him. That's laying blame. Should not do that. That's not really actually solving the situation. The second one is justifying things. It's using an excuse because it was always like that. There was a failure because I did something manually and not with config management. But I say, hey, yeah, but I have been seeing that from Mike all the time, so I'm just doing the same. That's trying to justify what I did. That's also not a solution to actually solve something. Then there's the shame. That's just saying, yeah, I know, it's my fault, I'll never do it again. You know that's a lie. And then there's obligation. This is a bit tricky, but it's you did something because the environment pushed you to do it. And you try to explain it like that. It's, well, I installed this package manually. When I arrived here at the company, they told me that was the way to do it. And I just haven't been evolving together with the company. So it's a bit like justification, but it's the environment who pushes you, and not some person or some small thing. Bit hard to do. If you don't do any of those, and you do react, then you will normally have a certain responsibility in your answer. You will normally say, okay, I know, I made a mistake. Don't worry, I will remove the package. I will write a cookbook or a manifest. I will apply it to the server. And additionally, I will mail the team that it's no longer allowed to install packages manually on a certain server. So that's the personal responsibility. This goes even further. If you see a person doing something wrong and you see him moving in all these layers of blame and shame and justifying, you can take the responsibility, but you don't have to execute it. You can say, how can I help you to avoid this? Should I help you draft the cookbook? Should I help you draft an email to the team? Should I train you in a certain way? How can I help you to become a responsible person? Then there's denial and quit. That's actually quite easy. The denial is, hey, you installed the package manually. Nope. Yes, you did. Nope. And so on. Then you're stuck. So that's actually an exit. Then step away from that discussion. You're not going to get anywhere. And quit is actually just stepping away. You install the package. I'm out. So that's not what to be done. This personal responsibility process, if you want to read more about it, just look it up on the internet. There are a couple of videos explaining this all very well, much better than I did, with a couple of examples. And it's actually quite easy if you are in a situation to quickly think about this, or even in retrospect, hey, could I have handled that situation better? Very easy. Try it. So that's Christian Avery's responsibility, personal responsibility. Then, I don't know the situation here in Cuba or any other places, but I do know the situation in Belgium. If I go into a bar with a couple of friends and we meet some other people and they go after the first greetings, hey, what do you do for a living? Okay. Hey, I'm owner of a hosting company, we do like DevOps, and the person just walks away. Not that good. So most of the time I just say, well, something with computers. Yeah, okay. Where is my pride in the work I do? I should be proud of what I do. So we need to be proud to be an IT craftsman. So don't be shy because it's just something with computers you do. Live up to it. Also be proud of what you accomplished. Tell your family that you actually improved the productivity of a certain company by 50%. That's good stuff. Don't have to tell them the details or they get bored, but tell them. From what I've seen 5 years ago and today, well, not today, this week in Cuba, you should be really proud. With the limited resources you have, the things you achieve are really astonishing. It's kudos to you, tip of my hat. It's amazing what you do. So that's that. So that actually concludes my talk. To summarize, keep improving yourself, both technical and non-technical. Invest in your soft skills. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Look at other tools, look at other systems, look at other processes. Learn from others. Go to DevOps meetings. Share. Collaborate. Have patience. Keep practicing. Eventually you'll get there. And raise the bar for yourself a little bit each and every day just to improve yourself. So that's actually the conclusion of the talk. Now there's one exception, and we have to take care of one big thing. We need to have fun. So, like limbo fun. The only time you should set the bar really low is when you limbo dance. Okay, thank you.